Hello, everybody. My guest today is Jamie Miller. He's a CEO and entrepreneur with 20 years of experience building and managing high growth and mid-market internet and technology companies. He's led 9 private and public company M&A transactions, raised $85 million of venture capital, and 4 of his ventures were acquired by publicly traded companies. Jamie, you ready to take us to the top?
I'd love to.
All right. So talk to us through Amplero. What is the company doing and how do you guys make money?
Sure. At the heart of what we do is we help B2C marketers improve the value of their customer interactions. So pretty straightforward, and you probably would find lots of companies who say they do that. And historically, they do it all pretty much the same way. Our platform targets, sort of starts with a key performance indicator, meaning that really the high-level numbers that company cares about, and sort of uses our platform as goal-seeking capabilities to generate sort of optimization for, say, revenue or net income, or margins on a product, or a retention cost, or say a net promoter score, to sort of key into the thing that you're trying to get to first, and then you use our platform to sort of drive towards those outcomes. We do it sort of automatically. And one of the really interesting things about what we do is that we create measurable improvements in value from the customer's long tail, which means we are focused on sort of what happens after you acquire a customer. And obviously, with CAC being so important to so many online marketers, understanding how to market very precisely to those kinds of customers and get the highest value out of those customers is critically important. And so what we do is we allow you to take a long tail, make it fatter or longer. And we do that in a very measurable way. So that's kind of the core of what we do. And the value that our customers find in what we do it in a very unique way. I can tell you a bit about the platform if you like.
Is it pure SaaS, Jamie?
It is not. And I don't think you find too many pure SaaS companies in the ML space these days. There's still a lot of learning to do from a customer standpoint. Almost everybody needs help.
So what's your structure?
Yeah. So we have a SaaS product, and we have consulting services that we sell along with our product. The first thing they do is do an integration into the data sources that customers have. And then we start to build the optimization engine that goes along with the customer data that's being imported. And that's pretty much what the sort of the first customer interaction is, and where we use consulting services first. Then on an ongoing basis, we help our customers understand how to use new forms of marketing technology like the one we bring to optimize their marketing environments.
So if you look at your total revenue over the past 12 months, what percent is kind of coaching, setup, things like that versus pure SaaS?
About 20% of what we do, 25%, depends on the customer.
Okay, not a ton actually. I mean, you're really a SaaS company.
Oh yeah, we are.
Yeah.
But less so now than we probably will be if you look at sort of how we spend our time and effort in 5 years from now.
Yeah. I mean, I think you might surprise yourself too. Now you have a lot more experience than I do, but of all the CEOs I've interviewed, there's a ton that are, pushing $100 million in ARR, where you see them actually increasing and doing more professional services because it drives up retention.
It was exactly that. My last company, we had probably 40% of our revenue ultimately wound up coming from professional services because there's no better retention tool.
Exactly.
Especially if you're in the enterprise business. If your customers are large, they actually require that time and attention. They value it.
And it's nice when you get your customers to pay for onboarding, which you need to do anyway.
Yeah. Although, investors, it really doesn't help. It dilutes multiples, I think, from the perception of an investor. Although, if you don't have a thriving company with customers that love you, who cares?
I was going to say, I bet stupid VCs might say that, but if you can tell the right story around your net revenue retention is higher on the cohort that paid for professional services, they quickly realize we want more professional services, even though the margins are lower.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, talk me through on average. I don't want to go down every customer cohort, but on average, what's a company going to pay you per month to use the technology?
It's between about $300,000 a year and $1 million.
Okay, so very much kind of in the enterprise space. What's your team size today?
We've got about a little over 30 people.
Okay, and how many of those are sales?
We have in sales and marketing, we have 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. Okay, so I'd love to learn at that ACV, so $300,000 to $1 million, how you have your sales team structured. What's the ratio between kind of SDR to AE to consumer success, customer success rep, et cetera?
Yeah. So metrics are interesting in a company when you're shooting for $500,000 ACVs. You start to look at different things than maybe your typical SaaS company might. So we have one of the things you don't get as much learning when you've got 1,000 or 500 customers in the entire world that you can sell your product to, right? You don't have as many chances at the plate. So one of the things you're always starting for is data. So we actually have two BDRs that are just focused on having those interactions on sort of the velocity, that the highest velocity we can, but have actual personal interactions instead of relying upon, say, an ABM system exclusively. So we've got two folks that are just calling and interacting and getting feedback from the marketplace, selling obviously. And then we've got two AEs that are doing sort of the handoff when we've got a sales qualified lead. We then activate sort of the seasoned professionals to step in and take over. And then we've got two people in marketing that are driving sort of that ABM system, doing influence marketing, creating a brand for ourselves and the things we typically associate with marketing.
So Jamie, just to make sure to misunderstand you, you said you have one SDR that is getting and processing the leads for the two AEs?
Two.
Oh, two. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio between SDR and AE.
Exactly. But as I said, they have an extra responsibility of gathering information, understanding the market, because we're getting information when you're not selling 1,000 or 2,000 sort of customers a year. At least that's not what you're targeting. Is you start to value that information in terms of helping you sell and market to future opportunities.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, put this on a timeline for me. When did you launch the company?
Company was launched about 2.5 years ago. Was spun out of an ERP company that was looking for brand extension and product extension. Turned out there's a lot more to do than just simply the telco spaces, which is where that ERP company was in. So the product itself it's about 4.5 years old. That's how much we've invested in the IP itself. And then commercially, we've been out for 2.5 years. Did
you lead the spin out from the telco ERP or no?
No, that was someone much smarter, way more steeped in data science than I.
Okay, so since you've been there, I guess since 2017, 2018, how many customers have you guys been able to scale to?
So we actually prefer not to talk about sort of customer volumes, but we have a few customers. Let's just say it's less than 10.
Fair enough. Well, no, I mean, by the way, that's kind of what I was expecting, right? At this price point, you can build a nice business on a dozen customers.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And then walk me through funding. Have you guys bootstrapped the company, or I imagine you probably raised capital to do the initial spin out and then maybe raise some more for operations?
We were very lucky. So we actually launched the company with a customer, a large customer, a telco. So that helped us get funding quite early out of the gate. And we've raised 2 rounds totaling $27 million today.
But just to be clear, that telco, I wouldn't consider that funding. I mean, that's the best source of funding, which is customer payments. But you raised $27 million in traditional kind of equity?
Exactly. And then we had, my point was we've raised a lot of money for 2 years because we came out of the gate, I think, more mature than most startups do. Right. So most startups don't start with a large enterprise customer to launch their commercial activities.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Quickly.
So you measure year 1, 2017, year 2, 2018 just closed out. I mean, what was growth rate throughout 2018? I imagine you're way more than doubling year over year.
Yeah, so one of the things that's really important is making sure that one retains their customers. So we have I don't know that sort of year 1 to year 2 what is a good measure. I think year 2 to year 3 is probably better. And we should double our revenues this year.
Yeah, that would be from 2018 to end of 2019. You think you'll double?
Yeah.
What is the most... So you're one of the rare kind of companies because of your ACVs where at some point you actually need to drive growth from driving expansion revenue, not new customer ads, right? Because you have such a small market you're playing in. So what are the...
I lost the Skype there. Just give me one more.
That's okay. I was just saying you're one of the rare cases because your ACVs are so high where you have to have a really good plan for driving expansion revenue because eventually if you have 80, 90% market penetration, the only way to drive growth is to either go after a new customer segment or drive more wallet share on your current base. So as you think about additional products to upsell or additional axes to upsell against, what are those looking like?
Honestly, we look at it differently. I look at focus. So the thing that creates the most amount of growth for us is going to be having terrific references and customers that sell for us. Having a $1 million enterprise customer in the retail space, talking to their CMO buddy, saying, "Hey, this is great. We've tripled the amount we invested this last year. We're going to double that the year after." I think is the kind of thing that we care about right now. So we care about referenceability. And focus. So we're stuck in 4. We're going to stay in 4 verticals. We're in retail. We're in the telco space. We are in the gaming space.
What does that mean?
So online gaming.
Like, give me an example company that would fall in that category.
Ubisoft would be one. that would do. And think of any sort of online multiplayer gaming where you are trying to it's a freemium model, or you're trying to the business model is that they are selling skins or
virtual swords.
Exactly. And then lastly, the retail banking space.
So retail, telco, gaming, and retail banking.
Yeah.
Interesting. And how many customers do you think total are in that space?
There are, in the US, there are about 400.
Okay, fair enough. Good. So good. You're 10 on the way there, right? So you got plenty of room for growth. Talk to me a little bit about economics, right? So you don't have enough data for this yet, but do you know what churn looks like annually, and how do you cover that up with expansion?
So we have no idea what. Certainly we have a measure and we look at it because in the future it's going to be an important measure for us. Our goal is to keep 100% of our customers, so we want zero churn, and we'd like to see lift in revenue from each one of our customers. The margins are getting dramatically better as we get better at repeatability in our space, both from a sales and marketing standpoint, so the customer acquisition side, but also in simply delivering the consulting services that goes along and delivering repeatable marketing campaigns from customer to customer in the same vertical.
Yeah.
So all those things help us reduce the costs.
And how aggressive are you being with your current team, your current SDR to AE to CS kind of structure on your marketing folks? How aggressive are you being on your fully weighted CAC for a new $300,000 a year plan? Will you spend first year ACV or no?
I think we're conservative. I think because I don't think traditional marketing is the thing that gets you to our first set of customers that matter. Now, our first 20 customers come, as I said, through referenceability, by doing a great job with the existing customers, by having a brand in the market that people understand, by doing things like this, sort of getting our name out there. Of course, some marketing is important, and the kinds of things that you accomplish with ABM, where you're sort of nurturing customers and messaging them to help them understand more in an educational way than anything else. So we have a pretty conservative, as I said, we've got 2 people in marketing, and we're not doing a whole lot of sort of traditional marketing acquisition.
So, when you say conservative, though, you think your payback is like 2-3 months, maybe?
So we could easily pay off our marketing and sales activities with 2 customers, right? So it's a couple $1,000,000 or less, which is a couple of customers. So it is. I think we're being very aggressive, but I think spending money on online advertising or SEO so things that you think of with a traditional SaaS company really doesn't have a payoff for us. So there's only so aggressive we can get. I think very aggressive when it comes to those things that are appropriate for this marketplace.
Yep.
But really about getting in front of the buyers. And those are C-level buyers for us. They're chief marketing officers typically.
Yep. Very good. All right. Healthy economics there makes a lot of sense. Any plans to raise additional capital here in the next year?
Yeah, we'll go out probably sometime in the fall.
Okay. And why is that going to be the right time for you think?
Well, because it's not August, for one. And it gives us, we're not profitable. So there is certainly there is a time in which we run out of money. This will give us plenty of time to go raise the next round.
Yeah.
It also allows us to have,
wait, sorry, Jamie, what buffer do you like to have there? So other CEOs listening always wonder this. If you know right now you only have 6 months of runway in the bank, is that when you should go start raising, or?
I would never get underneath 6 months.
Okay.
I would never. It always takes longer. Even once you have a deal done, it always takes longer.
So what do you operate at? Like 12 months maybe?
But that's a really sneaky way of asking how much money we have left in the bank. You mean?
No, because I don't know your burn.
Yeah. So we have a year left.
Yeah. Because I don't know your burn. Yeah.
So conservative, we've got a year left.
Yeah. So you'll go out. You're comfortable, right? It sounds like if you wait a couple more months to raise, you'll have 8, 9, something like that months, giving you plenty of buffer. Plus the lovely holiday timeframe to use the forcing function to get the deal done.
Yeah. Plus we've done great. Our existing customers are super supportive. Our existing investors are super supportive. And so I am confident that if we're making progress, that and we wanted to buy another 6 months or a year because there's a milestone we thought would be critical for us to achieve, that we'd have no problem sort of going back to existing customers as long as we continue on our path that we're on.
Yeah. How do you decide kind of at this stage in the company how much you go out and raise in the fall?
Yeah. So that is a function I'd say more constrained by investors. The number of times one has to go out there and just be distracted by raising money is, I think, directly related to how difficult it is to sort of achieve new milestones in companies, meaning the distraction of raising capital is a burden.
Yeah.
So I would like to raise the largest round possible that we can justify without creating dilution that's too painful for the company. I think the next round is going to be $15 or $20 million. Like
and will that more than buy you, like, call it 18, 19 months of runway? How much runway will you raise for?
Oh yeah, that'll get us. I think that'll get us several years.
Okay, very good.
I expect we're generating a lot of profits by then.
Yeah,
or at least less burn. How about that?
You think by this fall you'll be break even or closer?
No, because that's not the goal. That's not one of the KPIs we're optimizing for.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I imagine your biggest expense is what, headcount at this point in time?
Yes, it's 70% of our cost.
70. Oh wow, 70%. That's more than usual. So you're really not spending a lot on sales and marketing and that kind of stuff at all.
No, as I said, and we're very focused on the U.S. too. So we're not, it costs twice as much to try to go overseas if you're a U.S.-based company in marketing. There's all the startup. So we're not doing that. We're saying there's plenty of opportunity for us just to focus here, and also concentration in the marketplace only helps our business.
Yeah. So okay, very good. Let's wrap up here, Jamie, with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
So there is a book called Leadership and Self-Deception. I don't know if you've read it or not, but it goes to sort of more about the interactions between a manager and people at a company, and how it's so easy to sort of fool yourself into thinking you're a great manager, which is a lesson I think probably maybe the biggest sin perpetrated on young tech startup CEOs on the people that they're leading. So I like that one.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
CEOs are a great one because they've got chips on their shoulders. And so each one sort of has this unique chip that makes them good at a thing. So, Steve Jobs, amazing marketing. So if I were, product guy, if I wanted to sort of, he's my inspiration for product, how to build a company, Andy Grove. So it depends on sort of what's the flavor of the time period. But yeah, I would say those 2 come top of mind.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company?
I mean, the one I would say I don't have one. I would say there's nothing that I use every day that I feel that's a major influence over all the communication vehicles that we have that allow us to talk to our folks easier and present information. Zoom would be the thing I use most frequently, and I find the most easy to use.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep you get every night?
Between 6 and 7.
Okay, so good. And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
I'm married with 3 kids.
3 kiddos. Okay, and how old are you?
I am 56.
56. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I think not to be so premeditated on following what I thought was the right path, and focus more on the things I'm passionate about across everything. I love what I'm doing, but there's things I should have spent time doing too that are maybe not so business oriented.
Guys,
I feel missed out on.
There you have it. Focus on what you're passionate about. Amplero growing nicely. Start off as an ERP spin out at a massive telco. They launched with a big telco customer, now under 10 customers, but ACVs are $300,000 to $1 million. You can imagine the scale there is important. They're servicing 4 specific markets: retail, telco, gaming, and retail banking. Currently a team of, about 30 folks, $27 million raised, obviously burning capital, hoping to maybe go raise another round here in the fall, hoping to raise maybe around $20 million. Likes to go out and raise when he's got, well north of 6 months of runway left. Jamie, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
Nathan, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it, and the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company, or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com youtube.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.